Wisconsinites know how important it is to winterize our vehicles, but we often forget to take care of them in the heat. Earlier this week, we sat down with Jim Ward, service manager at Smart Motors, who shared some advice. We are joined by Jim Ward. He is of Smart Motors Madison to talk all things summer heat and cars. Jim, what are some things motorists need to know as they head into the hot summer months?
Well, it's the old important motto, be prepared. You know, there's nothing like some advanced planning. Before you would take a trip, vehicles, whether you take a trip or not, should be inspected about every 6 months, so about twice a year. You know, if you don't do your own maintenance, if you're not mechanically inclined, you want to take it to a shop. Besides having the routine oil change, whatever fluid services, tire rotations, every shop's going to do what's called a multi-point inspection. And they're looking over all of the belts, the hoses, the fluids, the tires, checking to make sure that your air conditioning system's going to work right, that the cooling system's going to keep the engine cool. It's a you know, end-to-end inspection to make sure that the car is safe and ready.
Right. I feel like we all kind of make sure our cars are prepped for the winter months, but
Definitely.
What can happen if you don't prep your cars for the hotter months?
Well, a lot of the same kind of things. Actually, battery life is shorter in hot climates. Hot weather is kind of harder on batteries. The problem in the winter is the battery loses its charge and it's going to freeze and be ruined. In the summer, you leave your lights on, the battery discharges. It can still be charged back up as long as it didn't freeze. But in fact, the hot weather is harder on batteries, and so a 5-6-year-old battery that's near the end of its life is more likely to fail really in the hot weather, in the really hot weather, than in the cold. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but that is how that works out. Cooling systems and air conditioning systems both really push the working systems in the car to their extreme limits, and so making sure that they're working right, that everything is that the fluids are topped off, that the refrigerant's in there, that the cooling fan for the radiator and for the air conditioner's condenser are working, are all important things to make sure those systems are going to work well for you. Tires are really critically important. We think of tires, of course, just like winter. We think of tread depth for traction in the snow, but in fact, the legal wear limit of tires is 2/32 seconds of an inch. So at 5/30 seconds, we think, well, we've got pretty good tread left. They start out at like 9 or 10 on a car, so that's like half your tread. But in fact, on a wet road at 60 miles an hour, it takes about 9-10 more car lengths to stop a car at 60 miles an hour with 5/30 seconds than new tires. So not to say that you can't drive with those tires, but if you're driving on, you know, a highway and it's raining and it's wet, you want to keep those following and stopping distances in mind if you've got kind of worn tires. So.
All right. Well, all great advice. Thank you so much. Great tips, especially as we kind of head into the summer months and maybe go on some long road trips.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you have fun, but be safe.
All right. Good advice.